Good morning to everyone. Thank you very much for taking time to register and join to this discussion today. I hope all of you are doing good in health and keeping continuing the work from home. ITEX 360 warmly welcome you to the discussion on how you can enhance your work from home culture. I'm Pramit Rupa Singh and heading the project management team at ITEX 360 and I'll be your moderator. Let me give a small introduction about my company. ITEX 360 is a technology transformation company who focus on enabling digital capabilities to organizations across multiple industry. We are a team of 100 plus people with expertise in Microsoft technologies, logistic technologies, process automations through shared services, HR technologies, and digital infrastructure services and support. So we are also the company that supports and enables digital transformation for Expo Lanka Group. During this crisis situation, we also have managed to get most of the staff at Expo Lanka Group working from home without having any interruption in work process or the productivity. The whole purpose of this discussion today is to really share some insights how we did this and which can benefit in the long run. So before we moving to the topics, during the session, we will be answering your questions upfront, and if you don't get your answer during the session, we will be sure to follow up afterwards. So these are the three topics we are going to focus today, and with the three presenters. First one is making the most of Microsoft Teams while working remotely by Irshad Zahir. Topic number 2, automate manual workloads with Microsoft Power Platform by Taraka. Topic number 3, ITEX 360 remote support as a service by Dixon Perra. So let's move into the topic number 1, making the most of Microsoft Teams while working remotely. Over to you, Irshad.
Thanks, Pramit. Let me share my screen first. Hope it is visible, Pramit.
Yes, Irshad, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hi, good morning, everyone. Hope you're safe and all good. In this session, I will be covering all aspects, how Teams will be used extensively to build a work from home culture. Rather, it won't be a deep dive or core technical session on Teams. So let's start. How do you move all our employees to remote work overnight? With COVID-19 outbreak spreading around the world, that was a big question on all of our minds. We at ITX 360 were fair team users, but ever since things got locked down, usage among our employees went up significantly. All the workers adjusted themselves for meetings, chatting, and collaborating exclusively online. We want to help everyone to meet these challenges, and especially if you take companies like EFL, Classic Travels, even big brands like Uber, PayPal are heavily on Microsoft Teams. Truly speaking, 91 of large US companies on Microsoft Teams. You may be wondering that what would be the cost. Believe me, it won't cost a cup of your daily tea. Further, Microsoft offers 6 months trial where you can easily get onboarded. If you need further information, please do contact us. We'll help you. There are many reasons and requirements for remote work, and meeting those requirements openly is quite a challenge. Therefore, Microsoft Teams is such a powerful tool where it helps you to stay connected with your teams and ensure you can continue working collaboratively and efficiently, and doesn't matter wherever you are. Let's see how we can get best from Microsoft Team while working remotely. If you don't have a home office, nothing to worry. You can still work from home productively. In fact, Teams will work as a virtual office you can take anywhere you go. While you may not have a printer or physical files or a disk phone at home, You can pull up documents directly in Teams, securely store files where right people will have the access, and quickly jump into calls or meetings. I'm going to cover 5 key aspects where Teams can be used heavily while you work remotely. Point number 1, meet more efficiently or in fact have productive online meetings. The end-to-end capabilities of Microsoft Teams helps to remove frustration and inefficiency, bringing everything you need for meeting into one place. Let's start creating a meeting. So I'll minimize my presentation. I'll open Teams. Okay, this is my team client. You can install this, or else you can easily go to teams.microsoft.com and you can sign in with your sign-in ID. So initially, let's go to calendar, on your left, the 4th icon. So what I'm going to do is going to create a new meeting. So let's add a meaningful title here, sales meeting. So I do a product call, click share. So I'm going to have a meeting on that subject, and I'm going to add the audience attendees basically, and I'll add the manager who heads that. And location, of course, it is an online team meeting. Okay, here we can type the agenda. What is the agenda for the meeting? So before the meeting itself, we are preparing ourselves, whereas I'm sending the request to the head of the product, and he knows what will be the agenda. So once you are done, you can send it. As soon as you did that, then meet it will be scheduled. Okay. So meeting has been scheduled, and I couldn't see where I scheduled the meeting. Let's do it again, please. Sales meeting. Adding the required. Let's schedule it for tomorrow. It will be better. Add location. It's a Teams online meeting, and I'll put the agenda and send the meeting. Soon as I send the meeting, sales meeting comes over here. So tomorrow at this time, I'll come to the same place. I will click this and I can join the meeting. Further, before the meeting itself, I can chat with my colleague saying, hi, we ready. So meantime, I can go to the files tab and share whatever file is required for that particular meeting. So let me share this. Okay. So if you see, sales files has been shared, so he knows before the meeting what is the agenda. If you go to the details, agenda is there. If you go to the chat, the file is already there. Okay. So in between the meeting, when you start a meeting, you will get a similar screen like this. At that meeting, I'm not going to demo the meeting, whereas I'm right now in a webinar. It will complicate things. So once you're in the meeting, you can click this to enable the video. If you want to blur the background, go to these 3 dots, show your background effects, and you can select whatever background is required when you're having a video call. Further, you can record the meeting. Currently, this is a webinar, it is being recorded. Otherwise, this icon will be visible for you. You can just click that. The meeting can be recorded by anybody. Meantime, if you are not the speaker on that particular meeting, or if you're not speaking at the meeting, you can always keep your mic mute as well. Further, you can share your desktop. Currently, I am sharing my desktop. Otherwise, you can click here and you can share your desktop or specific application or a PowerPoint directly. Further, live caption also available, whereas it doesn't come here since I'm on a webinar. There's another menu which comes live captions. Once you enable live captions, those also will come under the meeting. Further, you can take meeting notes at the meeting, as well as you can have your meetings, as well as you can have your meeting notes. And once the meeting is done, most important thing is once you complete the meeting, still you can access all the stuff from a single point. What I want to show is the whiteboard. I'll show you. I pre-recorded a meeting previously. We had a sales chat last week. I can show you the same meeting, how things has been centralized in a particular meeting. This was the meeting we had. See, the file required is already here. And if you go to meeting notes has been taken. The required file is been uploaded and the notes has been taken, and whatever chat we had on the meeting is there. Not only that, the recording also comes here, whereas we can have for easy reference. So this is the meeting we had few days back, and it has been recorded, and you can see the live caption comes over here. So meeting has been recorded. Anytime we can go back to our recording and see what has been discussed. Okay. I'm going to the point number 2. How to make up for missing chats. A lot of remote workers think they miss the most about Office's casual conversations. Chats at the water cooler or lunchroom not only keep us connected, they often exchange important information or insights we wouldn't have guessed. Let's see how Teams will help you to give that feeling while you work at home. So in order to start things, let's have a one-to-one chat. So you have to go to the left pane and select chat, and you can go to your contacts. I'll take him. So I'll have a chat with him. Hi. So I can have a direct chat. Further, if I want to add someone, or let's assume I want to have a group chat, I can bring further attendees into the same chat. So I'm bringing Aravind and bring another person here, Jagat, all at the same group chat. So I can have a chat with them, say hi. So here in this situation, we have created a group chat, whereas Aravind, Harshana, Jagat, and myself are on the chat. Guys are online, they are replying to. So further, if it is a continuous chat, if we are planning to take this forward bi-weekly, we can rename this chat group chat. Let's say same product. This is the same product team. Click share installation or something. So the chat has been renamed as click share installation chat. Further, you can keep this chat. You can pin this chat as well, where I go here, the same chat window. On the recent, click this icon and you can pin it. Once you pin it, it will automatically come over here. So at any time, I'll just go back to my chat, and if you come here, you can easily find your respective chat where you can have this chat conversation wherever you want, whenever you want. The other important fact of Microsoft Teams is this particular icon, the third one on your left. Team is a group of users worked very often. If you see, I have many teams, I have hidden those, and I have taken this particular team. This is one of my team where they do product called ClickShare, Fortinet, and many more products. So in order, before we start things, let's create a team. There'll be newcomers for this. So let's create a team. You have to click join or create team, then create team and build from scratch. Let's make it private, otherwise it will be visible for the entire organization. So creating this, create, I have already created. So that's it, so simple. Anyone can do this, as well as I can add the team members to that respective team. I can make him a member or I can make him a owner. So team has been added. Soon as you add a team, channel will be created automatically. Further, if you want more channels to be created, generally why we create channels is basically based on the subjects we create channels. Let's say in this particular corporate technology solutions group, I have created a channel called ClickShare. I have created a channel called Fortinet. These are different products where we have chat independently. So on this, let's create a channel, add a channel. So let's say webinar planning, something like that, and edit. There you are. So I have created a new team as well as I have created a new channel also. So let's see how do you manage these channels. So I'll go to the channel which is active. I'll go here and click manage team. Under manage team, you can see there are two owners of this team who can add people, and there are four other guests associated with this. Further, I can see what are the pending requests. Any team member can suggest to add new attendees, as well as you can see all the channels where I can make visible. You can click this. Soon as you click this, it will be visible on your left pane. If you don't want it, you can just hide whatever you want. So you can manage your channels visibility from this tab. And onto your settings. I'm not going to explain detail on this, but here you can add your picture and you can set permissions for your members, as well as you can have a team code and how these symbols are being used. You can control all the stuff from here. And if you go to analytics, you can further see how much activities has taken place in this particular channel. So I'll go back to this channel, and here I can have some fun here. I can chat, and further I can type something and can bold the bold the fonts, whatever required. You can do it here easily, and you can at the same time you can attach files, as well as your emojis are here, and you can add your GIFs and many things. If I let's say if it is a wiki search, let's say I'm doing a product called ClickShare, so I can just type here. Okay, you can add this and it will be visible for all the members. It's so simple. So you can play around with these, and a lot of options are available. If you want to add a YouTube video, that is also available here. So I'll go to the next area where the important fact I want to highlight for this particular channel, there is an email address. Get email address. You can copy this. I can send a mail directly to this particular channel. So I'll go to my email. I'll take Yeah, this looks good for that particular subject. One of my friends has sent to me. So I'm, rather than forwarding this mail to my colleagues, I'm going to send this. Okay. Soon as you send there, it will pops up here. Yeah. So the mail has come here. So what I can do, I can reply for that particular mail from here itself. Okay. So I want to reply this for a particular person, so I can use this @ symbol, and I'll tell the head to follow up. So there's a request from one of my customers. So I'm telling him, please follow up this. And rather than forwarding the email, I have forwarded the email to the channel where everyone have visibility and he can follow up. Not only that, if I want to save this message, let's say this is the important thing I want to follow up. So I'm going to save this message. Soon as you save, you can see the saves. You can click this icon and go to saves, and you can see all the stuff which has been saved. The other beauty of Teams, there are a lot of shortcuts where it will be very useful. If I press Control E, it straight away go to the search bar. So whatever you can search here, let's say I'm searching a product called ClickShare, and it will search you all the chat you had for that particular product. And I can type Control G, and Control G will show all the teams I have for respective channels. And if I press Control N, it will automatically open a new chat window. Likewise, there are a lot of shortcut keys where you can get used to. If I press Control 1, it will straight away go to the activities, which shows all the activities I have done with my team, and pending will be highlighted specifically. So if I go to Control 2, it'll go to the chat. Likewise, there are a lot of shortcuts where it is very useful. Further, if you go to your search bar and type the /, there are a lot of things where you can do. Whereas if I want to put myself away, I can click this, it'll show me as away. If I want to make it available, click available. If I want to see my saved messages, you can see all the saved messages. If you want to have a chat without exiting the window, you can have a chat. Let's say I want to have a chat with him. Chat has been sent. I didn't exit the window, neither I didn't go to the chat window, but from the search bar itself, I have had a chat. Okay, let's go to the point number 3. When working remotely, you need to collaborate and work on Office document with your teams. Microsoft Teams has made it simple by enabling you to create Word, Excel, or PowerPoint documents within the team itself. So there is no need to switch apps. Every team has a modern SharePoint site associated with it, with their respective channels. So let's straight away see how Teams will help you to collaborate while working remotely. So I'll go to the same channel, go to your Teams, same channel. I'll go to Files tab. These are the files document which are available for that particular team or channel. So I'm going to create a new document. So I'm going to create a new Word document. This one. Okay, so let's type something here. So I have created and I have typed in the document itself. I don't have to save anything. Document will be automatically saved. The document has come here. It is automatically saved. That is the beauty of Teams. So further, I'm going to show you how you can co-author with your team in order to collaborate with your team members. So I'll open this document where you can see multiple people can edit the same document at the same time. Now see the beauty, when I open it, open straight away from the team itself. So I'll go here. I'll just make it here. This is the file what we use for our sales meeting. So we have a few columns where we edit multiply. So I edit here. Yeah, okay. I can see while I'm editing, another person also editing. Okay, head of the department for this particular product, he is editing the file. So I also put my update here. So this is what called multiple editing or co-authoring documents in Microsoft Teams. Okay, let's go back to the other feature. Hope things are clear for you all. The other important thing, when you send a document, normally what we do is basically we download, copy to our email and send the document. But in Microsoft Teams, if you want to send this document for a particular user, if he has access for that document, you can just copy the link, copy here, and if you paste that in your browser, I'll show you. Automatically, it straight away it will load the document in the Teams itself. So rather than sending a document or attaching in the traditional way, you can send a link. Further, if I'm accessing this document very frequently or having meetings very often, what I will do is I will make this as a tab. Soon as I do, you can see there's a tab coming here. So for your daily discussions, what you can do, you don't have to open the file, tab is already there, whereas you can edit straight away. So I'll go back to my files again. Further, you can download your documents. You can pin on top as well. If I do like this, it will come here rather than opening as a tab. It will be open as like this, whereas it will be easy reference for you. If it is, there are a lot of documents where you can't find, you can pin it and for easy access. Further, you can delete the document. If you don't want this, you can delete or rename. Let's rename it, make it a useful, a meaningful name here. So let's make it a sales document. As soon as you do that, the name will be changed. And if you want to still delete this, you can go here and delete the document. Document has been deleted. Further, you can open these documents from SharePoint itself. So SharePoint, just a brief introduction for who are new for SharePoint. SharePoint is a document management and a collaboration tool developed by Microsoft. It is an intranet and a content management that is used for internal purposes to assist to bring an organization together. Basically, SharePoint, Teams, email, everything in Microsoft O365 comes as a one package. So I'll open this document in SharePoint. Okay. Okay. Straight away, it will open. It goes to the SharePoint where you can see this document is here. When I click, this document will get open. The important thing I want to show here, up here is if you click version history, you can see all the versions and changes you have done for that particular document. Further, you can go to recycle bin, and the document which we deleted previously can be easily restored. So I'll go back to my Teams. I'll go to the channel and files. You can see that document has been restored to Teams original location. Further, you can move documents. By this tab, you can move the documents to any of the folders which you require. Okay, I'll go to my fourth point. Let's check out how to use apps in Teams. Apps let you to do more in Microsoft Teams. Think about the tools, files, or dashboard that your organization already use. Many of them can be added to Microsoft Teams, and you can add new ones by going to apps. So let's check some interesting apps available. So in my demo, I would like to discuss about Microsoft Planner. It is fantastic tool for mini projects or to-do management. You will get a full idea. So I'll straight away jump into my Teams and I'll go to my ClickShare particular channel. I'm going to create a new planner task. So this is the way to add applications within your channel. So click this plus icon over here. Planner is already listed, so I'll select planner. Okay, let's create a new plan. So the channel is on ClickShare. So I'll create ClickShare. I'll create a planner called ClickShare. So I'll save here. Soon as you're done with that, a new window will open like this. These is what we call as buckets. So let's take a practical environment where we shall sell this product called ClickShare. So how we arrange our planning before we sell this product. So I can rename this bucket as leads, and I'll have another bucket called confirm deals, and I'll add another bucket completed ones. So I have 3 buckets over here. So let's add a task. I'm going to add I'll add a company. Let's say XYZ company. So you can enter. So that task has been added. You can go into the task and further you can assign someone. Let's assign same person who is in charge, and we can set start time. Let's make it this, and we want to win this deal before 30th. That's the due date. Okay, and here we can add the other items. Let's say I'll add demo. You have to demo the product, and you can get the confirmation from the customer, PO, and delivery. Once it's done, you can deliver and invoice as well as payment final. So I'm good with this. So all okay, and I'll show this in my cards as well. Okay, great. So I have added a task. This is a deal which came from this particular company. We have to give them a demo, and we have to, once demo is confirmed, we can get a PO from them, and we can do the delivery as well as do the other things. So let's see. Let's think that demo has been done. PO has been received, so it will be a confirmed deal. Let's say delivery is done, invoicing is done, and if the payment is done, it's all done here. So simple. So I know for this particular company, all has been done. I can add comments for our team. Good job. So team members can respond now, as well as you can attach the invoices, POs on this particular task. So all the tasks and all the details will be on a single place. So I'll go to our original where we do normally. This is the planner, what we do normally basically. So we have created a template. If a new customer comes in, what we do is basically we copy the task and we name the company. Let's make it same XYZ, and you have to click copy. Soon as you do that, all the task has been copied. So let's say we have done the demo, and quotation submitted, PO done, and you can still go to this section, PI issued, item dispatched, and the product is completed, and you can make this as completed. It's so simple in Teams. At the same time, you can do few automation as well. Soon as the tasks are completed, where I can send a message to my team channel saying that this task has been completed. I have created a automation in that aspect. I'll just show you. It'll take time to come though. It has not come yet. I'll show you in the later slides. Meantime, I have done a small automation with respect to the planner where I can, if I flag a document, now this has to be followed up. If I flag it here, it will automatically create a planner task in my planner. So if I go here, you go to my planner. These are all my planner tasks. So soon as I flag, that planner task will be automatically created over here. Let's see. Yeah, here the XYZ project has been completed. So all the team members who didn't go into the planner will know that XYZ project has been completed. So likewise, you can do a lot of automations. We are going to speak more on automation on the next session. Finally, on the point number 5, get the most of your Microsoft Teams mobile app. Have you activated Microsoft Teams on your mobile? It's the perfect way to stay on top of discussion while you're on the move. Now you can access all your Teams, channels, files, as well as participate in the meeting from your phone itself. This way you are sure not to miss anything. Be sure to personalize boundaries and optimize your work hours in the way that works best for you, setting up quiet hours in the settings tab. So Microsoft Teams is available in Android as well as in iOS. I have covered 5 key areas in Teams to be useful while you work at home. Just to put things in a nutshell, point number 1, meet more efficiently. Point number 2, make up your missing chats. And point number 3, collaborate files in Microsoft Teams. And point number 4, use apps in Teams. And finally, get most from Microsoft Team mobile app. That's it from me. Hope it is informative, and thank you very much. I'll hand this over back to Pramit.
Thank you very much, Irshad, about your informative session on Microsoft Teams, how we get our life easier during our work from home culture. Thank you very much again. So let's move into our topic number 2, automate manual workloads with Microsoft Power Platform. Over to you, Taraka.
Thank you, Pramit. Let me share my screen. Pramit, are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Good to go.
Okay. Let's start automation journey with Microsoft Power Platform. In my session, I will be covering what is actually Microsoft Power Platform and how to automate day-to-day manual process with the Microsoft Power Platform. Okay, doing manual work repeatedly is more time consuming, you know. If you're able to automate these process, that will be the first step of our automation journey. As example, invoice generation, petty cash handling, raising purchase orders, and there are so many manual process that we able to automate. We all know these kind of automations are doing by programmers and developers, and they are using programming language to develop the application. We all know developing and coding is not much easy, and it takes more cost and time. Microsoft Power Platform come into picture, overcome these difficulties. It's mean Microsoft Power Platform is low code platform. We don't need to know any programming language to develop the application. In Microsoft Power Platform, we are using built-in functions and template as we are using in Excel. You know, in the Excel, we are using sum functions, average functions, if functions, the max functions. There are so many inbuilt functions on Excel. Same as here, we able to use so many inbuilt functions on Power Platform also. And also there are a lot of built-in connectors, such as if you need to connect to a web application to Office 365, it's been external source, Twitter, Facebook, Gmail. There's already external connectors already inbuilt and already there, which we able to connect our applications to external sources. I will show you these connectors on my demo. If we automate any process, we need to find the way, basically how to input the data and how to process the data and how to process the workflow, and how to analyze and visualize the data. Microsoft Power Platform consists of actually 3 tools here. You can see Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI. We use actually Power Apps to input the data. To collect in the data, we use the Power Apps. With these Power Apps, we can design the web user interface with forms and buttons and text boxes. And second tool we are using is Microsoft Flow. Previously, now currently it's named as Microsoft Power Automate. Actually, this tool process the data and generate the workflow. Basically, we are going to use Power Automate to automate the process. The second tool we are using is Microsoft Flow. Currently, the third tool is we are using Power BI. So it is actually decision making tool that will help to analyze and visualize the data. We able to analyze and visualize the data that are collecting from the Power Apps. I will show you how to use these 3 tools to automate the process. And before going to automate the process, I will show you one example which we develop on our environment. It's a credit card approval app. This has been designed and developed by the Microsoft using the Microsoft Power Platform, and we have used Power Platform in ITX 360 for greater extent to automate manual workloads. For an instance, we have come with the credit card approval app, which is used heavily to share single credit card among many departments with proper approval structure. Actually, this is the form that we have to fill before using the credit card, and this is the history page, and this is the approval mail. If a particular department wants to use the credit card, he or she has to get the permission from head of the department as well as finance prior of using it. You can use approval emails like this, where you approve while you on the move. Once approval is granted, finance will allocate necessary funds, and also you will get the approval mail also. Further, it's give the fantastic dashboard where management can make decision based on live data. Likewise, we have done many automation which has digitalized and structured the data, and not only that, has brought great value to the organization. I will show you this on my demonstration later. And let's start the automate the process using Microsoft Power Platform. I will get the example as petty cash process. There are so many day-to-day expenditure will be come with the petty cash. It's a manual process actually which we can't visualize and analyze the information. So we are going to use Microsoft Power Platform to overcome these difficulties and going to create simple automation to simulate the petty cash process. And you have to know that before any implementation, before going to create the automation, we have to create the what we call Microsoft flowchart. Actually, flowchart. In here, I have created the simple flowchart for petty cash applications. First, it will input for the application. First, will input the data. then save the data, and it will send the approval email. It will check the approval whether it's approved or not. If it is approved, we'll send the approved email. Otherwise, it send the rejected email. In here, the collecting the data, it's been input the data. We are going to use the Microsoft Power Apps to design and develop the web user interface. And for the save the data, we are going that collecting data to the data source. As a data source, we are going to use SharePoint list. Actually, I will show you what is SharePoint, no worry, SharePoint and SharePoint list later. And once SharePoint is save the data that user has been input, it will should automatically send the approval email to immediate supervisor. For this approval process, we are going to use Microsoft Power Automate. That's how our Pettycache will be used here. Now let's go to our practical. And here I am using actually three account here, right? I will minimize my presentation. Yes, here I am using 3 account here. One is FinanceEd email account, and it's on my Firefox. And next one is department user. It's on my Chrome. And other thing is department head email account. It's on my Internet Explorer. Now I am going to use the department head email account. Sorry, department user email account. I hope you all familiar with this page, since that Outlook is familiar with you. I think Outlook email is the Outlook web app. Now I am going to launch the all applications, explore all apps. Once I have selected the all apps, it will load all the applications that are coming with the Office 365. If you have purchased the E1 license, you can see there are so many licenses here: Excel Online, Forms, OneNote, OneDrive, and Outlook and Planner. This one was explained by the Irshad, and Teams and Whiteboard also explained by the Irshad, and PowerPoint, and there are SharePoint. There are so many applications that are coming with the Office 365 if you have purchased the email license. My target is to cover Microsoft Power Apps. It's mean Microsoft Power Platform. It's mean Microsoft Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI. I'm going to launch the Microsoft Power Apps. It will load the actually home page of Power App. Yes, we can see some options here: home, apps, create, and so many options here. Now actually we are going to create the web interface to input the data. It's been collecting the data from user. Now I am select the create button, then convert app from blank. Then here it will list the 2 options here: tablet format and phone format. If you need to create the application only for the phone, then you are able to select the phone format. Otherwise, you are able to select the tablet format. It's mean you are able to use particular application. It's mean web user interface on not only the phone but also the browser. Let's say my Pettycache application name is Pettycache app demo. This would be my Pettycache application. Now I'm going to create the Pettycache application. Once I select the create button, it will load the my application on Power Studio. Actually, Power Apps Studio. The Power Apps Studio is the tool that we are going to design the web application. It's same as the Word, Excel that you are using normally. And here it has been loaded the Microsoft Power Apps Studio. In here from the right side, you are able to see what are the objects that you have used on the on this web application, and you are able to see the tree view also, and you are able to see the connectors. What are the connectors that you need to connect to applications? As I said previously, there are so many connectors here. Let's say we need to connect our application to FB. It's mean Facebook. Yes, Facebook API is also there if we need to connect to application to Facebook. Then if we need to connect to application Gmail, yes, Gmail also there. It's mean there are so many built-in connectors if we need to connect our application to external source. And from the right side, we are able to see the properties and advanced properties also for the object that we are putting here. And from the ribbon, there is many option here. We are going to, if we need to insert any object, let's say we need to select the text and as an image and audios, videos, we able to select and enter on this application. And this is the place that we are going to use to create it's been designed the web user interface. Now okay, now I am going to add the forms here for my application, and I will drag it here and maximize the forms. And for our application, our data source will be the SharePoint list. Now I am switch to again my applications application that are coming with Office 365, and I am going to select the SharePoint. Actually, SharePoint is a document management and storage system that we able to use upload any files and maintain the permission level also. You know, it's the same as OneDrive, but OneDrive is for the personal usage, and the SharePoint is for the company usage. Company usage storage. And I am going to create the SharePoint list on the automation side. I have selected automation, and here I am going to create the SharePoint list as a data source. Actually, let's say my SharePoint list will be expenditure list. Actually, SharePoint list is the some kind of a data table as we are using on Excel. We able to create the table on Excel. On there we able to add some columns there. Here you able to see title column was already there. Now we are going to add the column for my data table. It's mean this should be it's mean SharePoint list would be the data source of my web Power Apps applications. Now I am put the another column here, display name. It's mean what are the I'm putting the column as what are the things that we need to collect from the user, from the user. We need to collect the display name and also department, and the company. We need to collect the company of the user who has sent the petty cache request, and we need to collect the manager of the user. And also we need to collect the date of the requests that are coming. I will set the type as date and time, and also we need to collect the amount of the particular petty cache request amount. For the amount, I will set it as currency type, and I need to put it as Sri Lankan rupees. Okay. Now actually we already have created the SharePoint list. It means data source for our application. And now I am switched to again my application, web use application. It's in Power Apps application, Power Apps Studio to design the web user interface. Now we have already import the forms here. For the forms, my data source should be the SharePoint list. Now I am going to use SharePoint connector, and it should load the SharePoint site that we are going to use here. Yes, SharePoint site is automation, and it should show the SharePoint list that we have created previously. It's expenditure list. And once I connect my forms to a particular list, it will automatically create my form. You can see, yes, it has been created like here. And also I need to show you, once I have created that form using the SharePoint list, it will automatically create the object here. It's mean you can see once I select the title here, there are so many options that we able to customize this form, but currently I'm not going to customize the forms. That's enough. And here I have select the form, and there are so many attributes here. For the attributes in here, I am trying to say for my application, normally it's been default. These data should come in from the my SharePoint list. Then I am use the functions called defaults. My form should be updated from the SharePoint list, right? And also I am going to put up add the button here. You can see I will put the button here, and let's say my button should be send the request, rename as send the request. Send the request, it's my button. And also I need to put the label, data label here. Just select, and for the data label, this is my petty cache request form, petty cache request form. I will maximize font size to 30 and set the bold. What I'm trying to say is we able to customize our forms. And also I need another things to add here. Let's say once user is logged into this application, the email, the display name and department, company and manager, those details should be updated automatically. It's mean I am trying to get that display name and department and these fields from the Office 365 address book, right? It's mean I need to connect this application to my application to Office 365 to collect this data from automatically. Now I am going to select the data source and connect to Office 365 users and Office 365 users. Now I have connected my application to Office 365. Then my display name should be automatically updated. Then I had that normally the field is already logged, and now I am going to unlock to change the properties. And here there's an inbuilt functions called Office 365 users dot my profile dot display name. Display name. It will automatically show my display name. We'll copy that command, and you can see my display name is automatically loaded here. It's coming from the address book actually. That's why I have connect my application to Office 365 users. And for the departments, I am going to do the same thing. Use the same command and get the department of my user account, login user. And for the company, company name. And for the manager, I will use another functions called Office 365 users dot manager. Yes, manager of I need to put the user ID, then it will show the user ID of the manager. User ID should be Office 365 login user. It's been my profile dot mail. Yes, mail dot mail. Now it should show my manager. It's been login user manager. You can see the particular user. It's been department user A. The particular immediate supervisor is department head at itx360.com. Now actually we have created the form. Now I need to put some color to my form. I think that's fine. Now we already have created the form, and once I select I have to do some action here to my button. Once I select this button, it should automatically update my update these form details to my SharePoint list. Now I'm going to see that you can see form 1, that is the form 1 that we have, that we automatically created from our SharePoint list. Now I have select the button, and for the on select attribute, once I select the particular button, it should submit the data to form. Actually, form 1, it's a form 1. Form 1 is automatically connected to the SharePoint list. Once we have enter the data and select that particular button, it will automatically update the data on SharePoint list. It's mean data table. And also once it has been updated, my form should be cleared. Then I will going to reset the form after that. Reset the form 1. Now actually we have created the petty cache request form. Let's preview the form here, and let's try to put some data here. Let's say my petty cache is travel to Nayaka, and amount will be 350 rupees. If I need to put receipt, I able to put the receipt also, and I'm going to send the request. Once I send the request, it should update the SharePoint list automatically. Okay, let's go to the SharePoint list and refresh the SharePoint list. Yes, it has been updated automatically once we have put the data. And also from the Power Apps, we need to put the date also. Let's say I forgot to do at the date. For the date, I'm going to put the date also. Today dates. That's okay. Today dates is better. This functions call today. Okay, today. Okay, great. Now we have at the date also. Actually, what's happened here is we have already created the Microsoft create the Power Apps form to enter data from the user. Now once we have entered the data and select the send button, it will automatically save the data on our data source. Now we are going to on my second option on my my workflow. We are going to use we need to get the approval mail once user is enter the data. For this approval email, we are going to use Power Automate. Now I have select the Power Automate. It will load the Power Automate homepage, and here same as Power Apps. Here we are going to create the automation and automate the automated flow. And for now, I will skip this one. For the Microsoft Power Automate, there are two things we have to know. Any workflow that we are going to create from the Power Automate, there are two options here: triggers and action. For the any flow, there should be a trigger from the start. Then there will be so many actions. According to our example for the petty cache process, first user will enter the data from the web application that has been developed from the Power Apps. Then it will save the data on SharePoint list. After the SharePoint has been add the item, it's when SharePoint is update the list, it should trigger for the approval email. Then my trigger is when an item is created on the SharePoint list. Then I have select the SharePoint here, and when item is created on the SharePoint list. Let's select the SharePoint site address, and my list name is expenditure list. Here I have created the trigger when an item is created on SharePoint list. It will trigger this automate. Next, it should send the approval email. Then I will use the approval templates that were given by the Microsoft Power Automate. Start and wait for the approval, and approval type everyone must approve, and it will load the approval template. For the title, you can see we are able to use the dynamic content that are coming from the SharePoint list, right? For the title is petty cache request Sorry. Request, the title would be the title that we are putting on the Power Apps. The title, I will search the title. Yes, title is shown there and able to use it here, and it should assign to my immediate supervisor. It's in manager. For my particular account, it should be the department head. Let's see, it's more and manager. Yes, it should assign to manager. For the detail, I will put the detail as amount. What are the amount that user is request, and for the date, what will be the date? All the things are dynamic container getting from the SharePoint list. It's been data source, and amount, date, and the requester. Yes, requester. I will set it as display name. Yes, and that's enough for my approval email. Then once approval is sent to the immediate supervisor, we need to check whether my approval is get approved or not. Then we have to put the condition here. Now we are going to add the condition. You can see condition here. Now we are going to check the condition whether my outcome of the approval is approved or not. Right? If it is approved, it should send the approval email. Now I am going to use the template of email template to send the email. Send email. Yes, send an email. This is the template that I am going to use. This is the same. This is a normal email that we are sending using the Outlook, and the email should send to the. I am used the dynamic content. Email should send to the that item is created. The user that who has the item is created, and for the subject, let's say your request has been approved. Request. You can put the title here. The title of the request. Title of the request. And for the body, let's say dear display name, your request has been approved. Details are below. Amount, title, date. That's enough. The amount will be the amount that are coming from the SharePoint list, and for the title of the request and date of the request. Yes. Now we have created the automate flow also. Now I am going to save my automate. Actually, we already have created the Pettycash applications and bind and automate the process. Now let's see what's happened. User is enter the data. This is the second testing. Travel to Colombo. Let's say travel to Colombo, and amount should be 350 rupees. Yes, 350. And attach the file, and I will click the send button. Once I have sent the request, it should automatically update my SharePoint list. Now I'm going to SharePoint list. I'm going to refresh it. Yes, you can see my SharePoint list is updated, all the details, and also I need to show you the attachment also shown there. Yes, you can see attachment also shown there, and you able to use that attachment and also. And now I am going to the department head, the manager of this user, check whether the approval emails come to him. Let's refresh the email account. Yes, it should come to here. Yes, you can see now the email has been come to the department head. This is the approval email. You can see the two button here, whether department head needs to approve or reject. Now I am current, and also you can see the what are the dynamic content that are getting from our getting from the SharePoint list that we have created, and request the date, amount. These are the dynamic content, and we are going to submit. It means approve this request from the department user A. And once I approve the email, it should send the approval emails to department user. Yes, I am going to switch to department user to mail account here, and you can see once I select now, you can see that approved email also coming to the department user. Right in here, actually we have automate the process called petty cache process. What we have done here is we have designed the petty cache application using the Power Apps, and then we have used the Power Automate to automate the process. And once the automation is done, it will send the approval emails using the automation mail flow. And also I will show you the demonstration that we are that are running on our environment. It's been credit card approval applications that we have that is live on our environment, and I have loaded that credit card application here. In here, before using the any credit card, we need to get the approval from the immediate supervisor. You can see there are 3 buttons here: new payment, payment history, and the Power BI report. For the new payments, if we are doing any payment using the credit card, we need to select this new payment button. And once we have select the payment button, as same as on the petty cache, it will load the form here. Once we have to fill these details, and we able to select the currency type and the description, and here we are putting the amount, and we already add the condition here. It's mean if any request that are greater than $1,000, it will send the finance hit. There's a condition we are checking here. And for the payment, we able to select one. If it is one-time payment, if it is monthly payment, we able to select this payment type. And once we have sent the, and also you can see that the date also automatically filled, and requester, it's been department user, it's also automatically filled from the address book, and department and manager, these fields are automatically filled from the address book. And once send the request, it will send the approval email to immediate supervisor if it is greater than $1,000 for the department head. Now I am going to home page and go to payment history. Once I am going to payment history, we able to see the what are the requests that we have sent previously, and what are the rejected requests that we have sent previously, and what are the approved request, and this request has been pending. It's mean it should on department head. Let's switch to the department head. Yes, department head. This is the department head mailbox, and you can see the email that are coming for the please review the below transaction for the credit card, and it says the purchasing the Photoshop software. There's a title of my transaction, and you can see all the details are listed here. The title, these dynamic contents are getting from the SharePoint list as we done on petty cache applications, and we able to select the approve button. And let's comment approve comment. It's option actually. We will put the optional one. Let's say for this project. Right, okay, then submit the button. And here this request is greater, this request is greater than $1,000. It's mean it should send the finance head also. Now I am going to switch to finance head email account. You can see it has been sent the automatically. It's come the email, approval email to finance head also. Same as on department head email account, all the things are listed here. And let's say finance heads are going to approve this transaction, and it will automatically send the approved email. Yes, you can see, hi all, your request has been approved by finance head, and all the details are below. And also it shows the department head comments also that we have added. Now I am switched to the application, Power Apps applications, and going to refresh the application here. Yes, you can see my request has been approved. And now I'm going to home page, and here there's another button called Power BI report. You know, the Power BI is the analyze and visualize the data. It's Power BI is the tool that we able to use to analyze and visualize the data. Here's the screen of Power BI. Actually, this Power BI is connected to our data source. It's been SharePoint list, and we have created the dashboard for the credit card usage. And here actually this shows the live data. Once user is enter the data from the Power Apps, it will automatically update this dashboard also. And also this is actually dynamic dashboard. Let's say we need to select the currency type as LKR. According to the selection, it will automatically update the dashboard. Not only that, there are so many options that we able to select, reject, and also we able to see what are the rejected transactions that are doing with the credit card approval. And we able to select the according to the month, and here it's give the table of amount by the month, and here amount by the department, and here it shows the top 5 users. Let's say we need to get the report for the department software development. What are the transactions by the doing by the software development team? Once I select the software development, it automatically adjusts all the graphs according to the selection. What I'm trying to say here is this dashboard is dynamically changed according to our selections, and also this is the live data that we are using on credit card. And here actually for our application, it's been credit card approval lab. We are using Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI for the analyze and visualize the data. This is how automation work with Microsoft Power Platform. As a summary, I would like to say choose any manual process by yourself and automate it using Microsoft Power Platform. You know, always we need the intelligent workers, not the hard workers. Then try to start the automate the repetitive task with Microsoft Power Platform that are coming with the email license freely. And thank you all. Pramit, I will switch to you. Pramit, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you, Taraka. That's the beauty of Microsoft Power Platform. Thank you very much for your interactive and valuable session, Taraka. So topic number 3, let's move into ITX 360 remote support as a service. Over to you, Dick, sir.
Yes, Pramit, thank you. Let me share the screen. Okay, Pramit,
Yes,
is it visible? Okay,
yes.
good to go. So let's talk about, how the organizations handle the present situation. So working from home, are we addressing it right? Most of the IT companies had long established home working procedures and the software. And in software companies, this has been a common routine for quite some time. Having said this, most companies have not tested the home working as a part of crisis management activity in their BCM. The intention of this session is not to discuss about how to establish those practices or gain benefits to organization from this. This session is with the intention of discussing the practices that we could adopt to make home working, remote working smooth, procedure and engaging for the companies and its employees at this point in time. Establish hotlines like help desk for employees to reach out in situation that they need assistance. This can be on work related issues, situations or connectivity issues, or using the technology with tools may take decisions, etc. So are we addressing working from home remotely or the working needs? So working needs is one of the key things. This is beyond providing laptop or a connectivity. Ensure all employees have the necessary technology needed to make remote working activities smooth. Those who have trouble in dealing with technology is given required training and support as expected. We, ITX, ensure employees remote IT support services available during all working hours. Let's move on to the other one. So what are the areas, how work from home procedure, goes on, engage support regularly, support team is open to communicate via any communication, media or users to address their day-to-day IT related issues or support. Having effective collaboration tools in place. So this is one of the key things where the Microsoft Teams, as the previous presenters described and talked about, Microsoft Teams, Skype for Business, keeping online and ready all the time for users to collaborate with their colleagues or any support required or in an efficient manner. The flexible hours, accommodating flexible hours for users. Since users newly adapting, this is one of the new concept of work from home due to present crisis. We are flexible to support at your convenience. Internet connectivity support. Configuring, some of the users will have their own devices where we will help them out for configuring and connectivity like wingers, dongles to all the end users. And sometimes the selecting the right the service provider, we are there and assisting on the VPN and configuration. This is installing and configuring point-to-point encrypted VPN client services in users' workstations and allowing users to securely access the organization resources without interruption from home. This is one of the key things where some of the organization, they get into their network, they get into their office network to retrieve their important data, where the VPN client we will be supporting, but with the user will have the option of entering their credentials. And email and office package installation. So some of the users will not have those installed. So installing Microsoft Office package and configuring email for users, and we'll make sure we'll install for you all with your whatever the license that you will have. And for users, we'll support to configure their email and handle your issues as well. And this is one of the value added service that we provide for the general client training on related areas. If end user is finding any difficulties to operate or adopt any new technology which is related to work from home, and we support team is prepared to conduct a knowledge sharing and provide virtual training according to the user level of understanding. So this is one of the key thing where ITX is always prepared and always ready and with capable team for you all to support. So some of the applications and tools for the support users, for the support team, the support users where you require any support, where these are some of the things where end-to-end computer or network from an off-site location to provide technical support. Remote access helps to fix any problems within a computer, software network securely without visiting the user location. So this is these are the some of the tools we use in Desk, Teamweaver, LogMe, and Microsoft Teams, and Skype for business. So with using these tools, we should be able to remotely with your permission, with your authorization, we should be able to take over your computer to the troubleshooting of work. And the collaboration, so with the presenters talked about, the following application installed on your computer in order to have the proper collaboration with your colleagues and teams, and the ITX will support you, assisting in arranging online video and audio conferencing and making sure the call working properly. These are some of the applications where Skype for Business, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, GoToMeeting. So this is the ongoing thing where most of the home working environment, this is the only way, whereas actively connected with their colleagues and with their suppliers or partners, So these are the tools they use. And the other one is most important area where the computer software, not the computer software, the some of the file sharing, the data backups. So the support team, guide or help to install and configure the OneDrive application to the user's computer to enable the automatic syncing. So most of the users, they have their data stored in their desktops, and we'll make sure that is automatically synced to the cloud environment for them to access. This is OneDrive and the SharePoint. And the computer software, every user, they will have their Office suite installed based on, their license to handle their day-to-day activity. In case, if you would require any guidance or basic training, our support team, ITX, would do a remote training or guidance in order to use the application and to use the application to make use of this is one of the key thing where you can explore what are the tools, what are the application, what are the apps that you have with the Microsoft Office where you have already paid for the licenses. So some of the applications you can explore. So where ITX will help you out to explore those applications and how you could operate. And so some of the day-to-day general needs, what are the things that usually users they face, what exactly you need. So you need connectivity, and you need the right tool, and you need the know how to use. So this is what it's ITX can provide, right? Here, this is how we do it for some of our biggest client, EFL and Expo. So we do on a daily as a daily routine. We support them remotely, like internet, coordinating with the internet provider and suggesting them a proper connectivity. Where within their area there can be internet the coverage issues, where we could recommend them to use something like that, and training and how to schedule the meetings. Most of the users are well used, and their experience working from the office, since with this situation, so if they require, and how to collaborate, and how they schedule their meetings, and how they get their colleagues and the customers with their scheduled meetings, that ITX will support you. Right now, this is how we handle with our EFL and Expo, our biggest client. and installing, some of the softwares like, some of the applications and some of the tools, the PDF converter and, other softwares, the virus guard or any other tools. And, some of the time, most of the time, what the users face is working from home, the connectivity, they are unable to configure their Wi-Fi with the laptop. How they can have their hotspot open up with their mobile and how they connect it. So where we will make sure the ITX is always there to guide you and help you out with that situation. So going forward, this is not the way we expected, but this is not going to end today or tomorrow. So once this is all come to a usual usual day-to-day life, this is one of the key thing, we are working from home as an organization. This is the right time for you to think of, once everyone is settled, that you can think of, this concept, how you can adapt. In the future, it will be very helpful for you when it comes to the organization, whereas, how well that, who is required on what basis and who is going to work from home, So, and whereas it will give you the cost reduction as well. And, it will increase the efficiency and the productivity as well. So think of working, adopt this new concept, and ITX is always there to support you. And from now, I would say thank you for the time, and we will all pray and all the best for the coming future. Pramit, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dixon. So I think you understood about the ITX 360 remote support as a service. So just a recap about today's topics, what we had during these 1.5 hours time. Making the most of Microsoft Teams while working remotely, automate manual workloads with Microsoft Power Platform, and finally, ITX 360 remote support as a service. I'm grateful for the time you have spent with us, and I believe all of you have understood about the importance, enhancement, fact of work from home culture. I believe our technical support team members have helped you during the session, and any further queries, we will be following up with you afterwards. In the same, if you need any further support on Microsoft Teams and Microsoft apps, we can support you on this, and we can enable Teams for 6 months free. So you can reach us via our hotline, our sales hotline, 076-613-4784, or our email sales@itech360.com. No matter when it's going to lift the curfew during this pandemic situation, and people will move into the heal the world concept. And I wish all of you to stay at home and continue the work. Thank you very much for my audience, presenters, and the backend technical support team. I wish you all the very best and stay safe. Thank you.